Live here with Brad from Amp Human, and obviously all of us still wanting to train during this time, trying to determine, with races being postponed or canceled, what does that look like for athletes, and how do we stay motivated? There's some really cool things going on with Ironman's been doing some virtual races. I know people with Zwift and all these different things, but we obviously want to maintain our performance and our, the fitness levels that we have. And Brad is here to talk to us about how Amp Human can help with that and just talk about training in general. So,
Didn't Ironman just finish theirs? Yes. What? No, was it Sunday? They finished their virtual one, or did it get kicked off on Sunday? I can't remember.
I believe it got kicked off. And so, I'm wondering how they're going to, how the duration of this and how it's all going to look. I haven't read all the details yet, but I am excited that people are actually doing things.
Right. It's building the community, like
exactly
to
right.
help your sanity.
Right. That's what we're doing here today. And throughout this week to try and keep some people entertained and see what happens. So we're excited to have you here. Thanks for being a part of this. I know it's been short notice, but we're trying to put it all together. So
Flow Cycling's been great. We can't thank you enough for the support, but the factory team with just everybody in the community, like we just want to be here for them. So
perfect. Yeah, our factory team's been using your product, and we've had some really good feedback from that. So I'm excited to hear that as well. So
secrets out.
All right. Well, I'll let you take it from here, and see what you got.
Oh man, I mean, if you haven't, do the Ricky Bobby Talladega Nights, if you don't use Amp Human PR lotion, well, you're dropped. Pretty much is how it is. Yeah. No, I came on board with Amp Human several years ago as an athlete. I was a professional cyclist for a long time, 13 years of getting dropped in the pro peloton. And Big Jeff, who's the CEO of the company, came up to me and asked me if I wanted to utilize the product. And I was like, dude, get out of here. This lotion, there's no way that stuff's even going to do anything. And 2 months later, he called me again. He was like, why haven't you used this stuff? Please use it now. And I started using it, and I've been addicted to it since, because I started making performance gains that I never thought I would do as an older athlete. I started using it at 37, 38, 39 years old. And I made gains in my training and performance that I never thought I was going to be able to, because I never really had utilized sodium bicarb in an efficient way, because most people that have used bicarb in the past have had to drink it orally, and it destroys your gut. You have to visit the bathroom a lot whenever you utilize it. It will help you in performance, but there's a big drawback on visiting the bathroom a little bit too much, or just having an accident in your pants.
Yeah.
And so, it really took away that barrier of entry on being able to utilize it. And man, I never stopped using it. And then when I retired from the sport, being really quick with it, Big Jeff offered me a job, because I just had more experience with the product than any athlete out there, and I was able to communicate and connect with athletes on a level that I understood work. I understood the importance of work, and just like all of us, we're willing to put in the time, but we all want to see improvements as fast as possible. And so that's really why I chose to continue with Big Jeff and Amp Human, because I really believe in it. I know it works, and I want to help out every single athlete, from a beginner level athlete to Olympic level. And I've been able to do that, which is really cool. I could sit here and tell crazy stories about, a certain person that broke the 2 hour barrier in the marathon. I was sitting there talking to their coach on the phone about how little podunk Brad Huff, pro cyclist, used the product, and how I'm going to help the greatest of all time runner.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's really amazing. Or, a female athlete that's a gravel rider, and she's able to increase her volume because she's able to use the product properly.
Yeah.
There was another guy that's sorry to ramble, but there's a Paralympic, not a Paralympic, but a double amputee runner that's trying to break the 3 hour barrier, and he started utilizing the product, and he was able to see his volume go up from, I don't know the mileage, but let's say 14 miles to like 40, 60 miles a week. And he was able to beat times that he'd never done before, just because he was able to utilize the product and help his muscles work more efficiently. So it's stuff like that really, really gets me excited.
Explain a little bit about how the product actually works. So I'm going to, and how am I using it? So if I'm going to go for a training ride, I want to put this stuff on, and what does it allow my body to do versus if I don't use it? How does it help me?
Right. think of it as like an essential electrolyte. Like we don't go out and do a training ride without putting sports drinks in our bottles. And
Yep.
the same thing with the lotion. Like you don't go out the door without having it on your body, from legs to an upper body workout for a swim. It doesn't matter. So as I tell people, consider the lotion like a Trojan horse. And we put bicarb in the Trojan horse, and the lotion enables it to get into the body to help the muscles work more efficiently. It gets into the tissues, and the muscles are able to utilize that bicarb to help buffer acid as you're working. So no matter what pace you're going, it's helping your body, your muscles, maintain more efficiency as they go, and you're able to continue the workload that you're doing. So a lot of people have saved it in the past to utilize it only for races. But that's like you're missing the real win-win situation, where when you use it in training, you do more work, you get faster, you get stronger, you show up at your goal event that much more prepared. The
Yep.
great thing about sodium bicarb is there's no tolerance to it. So it's not like beet juice or coffee, where instead of 1 cup, you need like 3 cups of coffee to get moving in the morning. With sodium bicarb, 1 dose is the same as your 80th dose. Like the first time you use it is just like the 80th time. There's no tolerance. So every time you use sodium bicarb or our product PR lotion, it's just like the first time. And so you keep having the same adaptations every time you use it,
Yeah.
which is incredible for being able to make those gains. So if someone's trying to hold 300 watts on the bike and that's their goal wattage, well, they can work up to that more efficiently. And then once they get there, they can continue on by using the product. And so you're going to mitigate those gains a lot faster by utilizing PR lotion in training.
So we're basically giving ourselves the ability to train through something that we wouldn't, because the body is limiting us without using this sodium bicarb.
Right. And it's not so much that the body's limiting it. The body just only has enough electrolytes, let's say, to maintain efficiency. Just like you cramp up when you overdo it and you overstimulate the body. Whenever you have more bicarb, you have more sodium bicarb, you're able to maintain that efficiency. The body can keep going and keep working. Now, you will still fatigue. You can still cramp. Like you'll still blow up when you're doing a threshold workout or VO2 workout, but during that time frame, you do more work. So instead of, hitting 90% of your workout, well, you can hit 100%, or you can add 1 interval to it. So you're doing more workload for a given amount of time. And over time, you get fitter. There's a ton of research studies out there on the use of oral sodium bicarbonate in helping the body. And we have a couple small studies that we've been able to show the efficacy of the product in helping cyclists specifically gain more volume, gain more watts in their training, and be able to get to that point faster.
Right.
So it's really incredible. It does have some valid science that backs it up, besides all the decades of research on sodium bicarb. So it's not something that's just like, I'm not going to bag on any other companies or anything, but it's not a magic lotion that's supposed to help you become a Tour de France champion. Like it helps you get more out of you.
Yeah.
So it's not a magic bullet.
And it almost sounds like, if I had to take a pick, hey, if I'm going to use it for all my training or I'm going to use it just for racing, you're almost better to use it for training, because you're able to get more efficient time in and actually produce more of an efficient system during
Totally.
training. Yeah.
A lot of us are working adults, parents, businessmen, however you look at it, and you're time crunched, and you can only get a 30-minute workout or a 1-hour workout. So when you utilize it in training, yes, you're able to maximize that 30-minute or 1-hour window you have on a given day or throughout the week. Yeah. So you're going to get more work done. It'll help you be more efficiently. So even if you don't have it, save it for those golden days where you're going to go hard. You're going to get more out of your body on those days.
Awesome. So as a former pro cyclist yourself, what were the biggest differences you think you found from when you weren't using it? Big Jeff finally convinced you to use it. What were the things that you noticed?
I was just able, as I kind of put it simply, I was able to suffer longer. I was an athlete. I was a sprinter. So that just meant I suffered from the start of the race to the end of the race. And I only felt good in the last 10 seconds when I actually was trying to sprint or lead out my teammates. And so for me, whenever I got into giant UCI races where I knew I was way over my head on the ability level compared to, guys that are a world tour level, I was able to suffer another climb or stay in the group, another hill, make it through a crosswind section with more efficiency, position better, help my teammate out a lot more. So for me, going back to the work, I was able to do more work for a given day. And
Yeah.
over time, I was able to build up my aerobic threshold to a point that I never thought I was going to be able to achieve it. Now, mind you, I wasn't doing Tour de France watts. I mean, I never was going to be able to do Tour de France watts in my life, but I was able to get more out of myself. And so I was more efficient at an older age in the pro peloton. I was able to do more work, be more efficient, and add a lot of quality to myself and the team each time.
Yeah, work over time. It's kind of a magic formula, right? I
Right,
mean,
right. You know, and one day when I used it, yeah, man, I was effed. I would blow up, I would get dropped, I would be able to come back. But it's the ability to repeat work that what it enabled me to do and enabled me to show up efficiently every time.
yeah, awesome. So if someone is going to use the product, how would you recommend that they do it? Are you putting it on, a certain amount of time before you're riding? Like, what's the protocol for using it?
So the science says it's fully absorbed in about 30 minutes, but with the new lotion, I feel that we call it the next gen PR lotion because it's just so much better. The old stuff was greasy, it was nasty, it was just a hassle to use. The new stuff, next gen PR lotion, absorbs probably a little bit faster, but about 30 minutes before the ride or a training session, you want to put it on your body, no matter if you're going to do a swim workout. You want to do full shoulder complex at least 30 minutes before you get in the water so that if it washes off, it's still in the body. It's going to help you for the workout. For cycling, what I do is whenever I'm filling up my water bottles and put my chamois on, I put the lotion on. So put my shorts on, pull them up super high like they're booty shorts, and then cover my quads, hamstring, calves, put it all over my glutes and low back, and then let it tack up, pull the shorts down, fill the water bottles, pump the tires. By that time, it's about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then I roll out for the ride. And by the time you're done with warm-up, it's fully absorbed and you're ready to start smashing. And so that's how I usually use it every single day.
And it's as you put this stuff on, it's being absorbed through the skin. And does it
Right.
actually get into the specific muscles underneath the skin where you're applying it? That's why you want
Correct.
to get it
And that's where people are like, there is no way this lotion is getting a product like a big molecule like sodium bicarb through the skin. Well, that's where we've been able to pull in some very groundbreaking technology that we acquired from the pharmaceutical world that was created to get big drugs into the body. And they figured that out. We acquired that rights to that technology that gets products through the dermis and brought it over to the supplemental world, which our first product is PR lotion that put bicarb in it. So yes, the lotion is able to get bicarb, nothing else. The pattern's full. It's only getting bicarb into the body. We've shown that it's like an 1.5 inches or 1.25 inches, I think is what the science said. Don't quote me on that. But it's able to get the bicarb through the dermis into the interstitial fluids to be able to utilize by the muscles to help it buffer more acid. So we know it is systemic. To what degree, we don't know yet. We're going to do more research whenever the pandemic kind of leaves and we're able to actually get out into the world and start being active again on a research basis. But it's able to get it in the body, and so we know it has direct efficacy on the muscle groups that you put it on.
Yeah.
So for cycling, put it on your legs. For swimming, put it on your upper body. For CrossFit, take a shower in it. You're going to need every bit on your body. So it works from base training to VO2 workouts to sprint workouts to CrossFit workouts. I mean, you name it, muscle's muscle, and it fatigues the same way. It just depends at a different rate of speed at how you're using it. So the product is quality for any level of athlete that is needing to use it. And so to answer your question, yes, it gets through the skin, helps the muscles, no matter what you're doing.
Which is, it's kind of an interesting thing because I think most people think lotion, right? That it's like sunscreen. I put it on my skin, it gets into my skin, and then that, it's a skin thing. But what we're
Right.
really doing is we're using this, and I think this is kind of, people don't really understand this, that your skin is the largest organ. It absorbs all of this stuff, into the body, into the bloodstream, and you're using it in a way to deliver a supplement versus taking it orally, which causes stomach issues. So I think it's fascinating. It's going to be interesting to see what else you're able to come up with.
Yeah.
With
so the word, the secret is that we're actually going to try to come out with a vitamin D soon. We've got it in kind of preliminary research, but because of COVID-19, we've had to stop all research. So it's going to be pushed down the road, but we've done some internal testing, some really exciting things about it. And then possibly, like, the world is endless as long as the molecule is not too big to get through the dermis. So think nitrates,
Yeah.
think a recovery cocktail. We are going to be able to we are on the forefront of human performance, no matter if it's cognitive or if it's muscle function. So that's where we're really trying to take that to the next level. So hopefully that comes out once the pandemic lessens and we're able to really get back to some quality research. But right now we're pushing hard with PR Lotion to be able to help athletes at home, Zwift workouts, going on runs in your neighborhood when you're allowed to. That's really our focus right now.
Yep. And for you guys at AMP, how are you guys sharing like stories of real world athletes and things like that? What's your goals there?
The great thing about PR Lotion has such an emotional connection with athletes across the world, from an Olympic level to an entry level Ironman athlete. And so we've been able to bring in some athletes to help take over our Instagram stories, which has been great. We had a first responder fireman yesterday, actually, and he was showing how he's been training to break the world record, running a marathon in full fireman outfit, which is insane.
I've read that story. Is he using the PR stuff? That's
yeah, he's been using it for a little over a year. He's loving it. We've got another guy, Iron Cop, who did an Ironman Santa Rosa last year or the year before in full police outfit. He's been using the product. And then today we've got Steven Nyman, a 4-time Olympian, on there. It's anybody can be on there. We're actually going to have Leah Davidson in about a week on there. So we're really just trying to show that we're all in this together. We're all humans. We're all out there trying to do our best, no matter if you have world-class wattage or if you just have wattage. Like, it doesn't matter. It's going to help you feel better, and it's going to help you get a better workout. So then therefore you feel better. You complete your task of the day about yourself. You're making progress. And that's what we're showing is we're all human. We're all just trying to be the best we can, no matter if we're doing a local 5K or going to the Olympics.
That's cool. So anybody listening who wants their 15 minutes of fame, we can use some PR Lotion, and we can get you up on the page. Sounds like that'd be pretty cool.
Oh, I mean, just start ticking away on Strava QOMs and KOMs. Just take them every day.
Take them every day. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. I actually saw a video on Instagram the other day. A guy was on, I think he was on Zwift, and he had a roller trainer, but he had a little moped on there, and he was just crushing everybody on Zwift. It was pretty funny. I was getting a good kick out of that. So it'd be like get your own motor using this stuff. That's
I mean, it's just as good as mechanical doping. I mean,
there we go.
50% increase, no problem. Just with a flip of a switch or an application on the legs.
Yeah, well, that's just cool. I mean, it's basically supplementation, so there's not anything that makes it illegal. It's an added benefit. So that's really cool.
Great point. And I didn't tell everybody that we are Informed Sport and Informed Choice approved. So that means anybody that's tested from Olympic level down to local level, you can utilize the product worry-free. It's free of banned substances.
Yeah.
So, I was tested heavily by USADA and WADA. No worries. We've have Olympians. We have, regular Joes that utilize it every day with no worry, because it's just bicarb.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's great stuff. So I guess for training indoors, do you notice any differences, like does sun or does, sweat rate or anything like that? Does that cause any difference? I mean, if you're putting it on 30 minutes before, I'm guessing it's already absorbed into the system. So you're not really worried about anything like that, are you?
No, I've worked out from Mississippi to Malaysia to Missouri to Colorado, and I've never had an issue with having my heat increase or sweat rate increase from the product.
Yeah.
It doesn't block any of the pores. It's just absorbed in, and it functions just like any other lotion that you put on the body, and more efficiently than a sunscreen, which usually blocks pores.
Yeah, sometimes you get those greasy sunscreens and you feel like you can't breathe. So that's
it's almost like you're in a plastic bag trying to survive.
Yeah. Well, good to know. It's not going to do that. That's cool.
Yeah, and then another great point is you put it on before you put sunscreen on, so that you get maximum absorption into the body. So you put it on, let it dry, and then put sunscreen over it.
Yeah. So what's the time recommendation? We actually had Zelios on here earlier talking about sunscreens and certain things like that. So if you wanted to use both, if you're going to use, how much time in between?
With the new formula, it dries pretty fast. So usually I say about 15, 20 minutes. But, most people, all you got to do is, about your short line. Hold on, to get it right there. you're just needing to put sunscreen here to here.
Yeah.
You're not needing to. You're not. People think, oh, I want to put sunscreen on everywhere. Well, usually you're wearing a sleeveless jersey, so you don't need to put sunscreen like all over your shoulders, so you don't have to worry about that. So what I tell people is wait 15, 20 minutes and then put it on the top of their knees and down on their calf, and they're fine.
Yeah.
Which the bulk of your muscles are usually covered up by your shorts anyway. So put PR lotion everywhere and then put the sunscreen on the top. So
yep. One thing that we talked about was how PR lotion allows you to build on, training moving forward. One of the things that I thought was interesting, as you were saying, is that how it helps you maintain previous training. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Right. So it's being able to do those back-to-back work days where you're able to show up and perform again. That could be on a given day where you're trying to complete your intervals. Yeah. We're able to maintain efficiency, or the next day, because we've been proven to show that we show a 50% reduction in soreness the next day. Every one of us knows when we roll out of bed and we're just like, holy shit, I can't even move. I'm so sore.
Yeah.
That doesn't help you mentally on being able to complete the workout you got to do in the morning or the afternoon. So when you're able to show up with less soreness the next day, you're able to repeat that performance. Now, saying that, I don't want to tell people that they're just going to be able to smash workouts for 4 weeks in a row, because you really have to focus on workloads, or focus on recovery, because you're doing more work. So when an athlete is able to do more, they need to really make sure they're paying attention to their recovery. So sleep rate, soreness, use that as a key. And then you're able to continue those gains more efficiently.
Yeah. So are you monitoring, obviously, something like a TSS score or something like that? You're going to probably feel better, but you still need to make sure that you understand the stresses on the body.
Correct.
So that you're not overdoing it. Does this stuff allow you to increase your TSS because you're able to recover and not, burn out as quickly, or you work on that?
You do more TSS in a day for a given workout.
Right.
But for an overall, you need to still pay attention to your body and the importance of recovery. Some people can be able to train back-to-back 5 days in a row without a lot of drop-off.
Right.
But it doesn't matter how amazing a product is on helping you with your buffering capability and maintaining efficiency of the muscles. You're still going to break down. Everyone breaks out at a different rate. So you still have to pay attention to that. And that's one thing that I noticed as a pro athlete and several of my teammates is they dug themselves in such deep of a hole that they needed to really take a few days off and recover well. But once you do that, you bounce back. You're that much stronger. You're that much more able to continue the watts, continue the training workload, if that helps understand
that. Makes total sense. We got a question coming in from Stacy Sims, who is a legend in this industry. So I'm going to fire that one out to you. It's a great question. Stacy's done really good work on a book called Women Are Not Just Little Men. And I think that's a very cool
book. And Roar is an amazing book.
Amazing book. I have both. So one thing I want to ask you, has there done any studies been done specifically on women during like their cycle, or is there any differences between men and women from the studies that you've done?
We have not differentiate our studies. I don't know in the pool of athletes that we utilized in the San Diego State research, what percentage were male to female. I don't have that information. I do know that a lot of top level female athletes have utilized PR lotion in racing and in training. I don't know when during their cycle, but they've utilized it and had the same results as male athletes. Speaking of which, my girlfriend, Lauren Tucker Hall, several other top females. So 2020 professional women's team with Chloe Dygart, current world time trial and pursuit champion, used it at Worlds at both those events. So I can't answer that on a data point, but I can say that it benefits them just as much as a male athlete.
Awesome.
Or more based on their menstrual cycle on pH balance.
Yep. Yes.
I'm not going to dive into that one.
All right. I understand that. Another question coming in is, would you look at this, or could you classify it as a lactic acid buffer?
So a lot of the science nerds out there will say lactic acid is a myth. And that's correct, because the hydrogen ion rolls along with I'm getting tongue tied here. So lactis, yes, it is a buffer. It's an acid buffer. for terminology that people understand, yes, it is a lactic acid buffer. So it helps pull the acid molecule out of the muscle cells, helping it buffer more, being expelled off in CO2. I'm not going to try to act super smart. I'll just get tongue-tied and go in a hole here. But yes, it is an acid buffer, and it's not, the product itself is not limiting. It's not inhibiting. It's helping the body maintain efficiency. So it's adding to the body's ability to buffer acid as you work out.
Yeah.
So it's like a plus one for activity.
I know on our podcast that we did with you guys, we talked about, we have a question on there which is called our watt point question. So basically, if you're using this, if we assume an FTP of a cyclist of 250 watts, and you're going to not use the product or use the product, what do you think? What type of gains do you think you could get from this? Do you have any numbers on like percentages gains or anything like that when using the product?
So like athlete to athlete, if both of them have a 250 watt FTP, they will both be able to work at the same level, but at a given point, the athlete that has been utilizing PR lotion will be able to continue that 250 FTP, while the other one will slowly drop off due to fatigue, neural breakdown, whatever you want to say. So that's where PR lotion is able to help an athlete maintain efficiency. So you're able to hold your workload longer because you're buffering more acid, pulling off more acid. So less fatigue, less stress on the muscles. That's why you're able to maintain that.
And do you have numbers on that? Like in the studies, did it say like, hey, it's an average of 5% longer, 10% longer, 1% longer, anything like that?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember the source endurance study. They did I think it was a 40-20 interval test, or not interval test, but they were doing 40-20s at given FTP wattages. And the athletes, I believe, were able to do 23% more intervals based on that, which is huge.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah. And so that study is on our website, and the San Diego State study is on our website also, which is equivalent to the data that has been acquired on oral dosing of sodium bicarb for decades.
We just had another conversation with a guy named Ryan Cooper over at Training Peaks, and they work a lot with specific coaches and certain things like that. And at the top of the field, I mean, even as an amateur cyclist or amateur triathlon, or even at the pro level, most people at the top they're all pretty much capable of holding a specific wattage. They're all capable of doing very specific things, which makes them very competitive with each other. One thing I always find fascinating is if you go to like any of the world championship events, you see the people who are winning. They take if you look at their bikes specifically, they do not skip a single mechanical advantage. The chains are doped with everything, so they have oversized pulleys. Every cable is tucked, all those sorts of things. And it's at that level that these minute, small changes actually allow you to have advantages. So it sounds like, the same thing with, if you're not using this and you're around somebody who is of the same level, because you're at that upper echelon, whatever, like I say, amateur or pro, that's a huge 23% is just a massive.
Right. And there's so many studies out there that our head of HP could rattle off the percentage gains from 400-meter runs to 800-meter runs to swimming times to CrossFit times. It's anywhere from 1.29% or 1.29 seconds, whatever it was, to I just had an athlete said he beat his time by 12 minutes. Like it's amazing on the proven data that's shown it and the anecdotal data that shows utilizing bicarb will help a body work more efficiently and be able to do more work. So yeah, for those top level athletes that are needing every single percentage, it's that 1% that could be the difference between winning and losing.
Fastest athletes are always the smartest athletes. I always say that. I've never seen somebody who hasn't won a world championship race. I've been fortunate to be a lot of the Ironman World Championship races, and every one of them that I've ever spoken to that's won, I mean, you can tell there's a lot of intelligence going on there because they're taking every advantage that they can. So that's
right.
Really awesome.
And the thing that people need to understand is you don't win without work. And we're not trying to be a magic bullet that takes that work away. We embrace work. We embrace grit. And so those that are wanting to work hard and continue working hard, that's where our product really shines.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, listen, it's been really great having you on here. I know that we're gonna, get this up on a site. If we have any more questions, we'll definitely field those here for sure. It sounds like you said you guys had an offer for any of the people that are looking to buy some PR lotion that are a part of this.
Right. I mean, the whole goal of this isn't to push people to buy PR lotion. It's more to educate them on getting more out of their body. And there is a discount code for Amplified 25. It's at the top of our website right now. It'll be
Yeah.
good until the end of May. They'll be able to go there and pick up some PR lotion if they want, or they can reach out to us directly on our Instagram handle at AmpHuman, or people can reach out to me at Huffy USA with key questions. I wasn't able to answer a lot of the key scientific data because I didn't want to try to act smart. I didn't want to try to give information that I didn't have in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm happy to pull that together and give it in a written form so
Yeah.
it's actually accurate. So please do reach out. We'll be able to give you some really accurate information besides my anecdotal thoughts and what little bit I have in my head.
Awesome. Well, listen, man, it's been great. Stay safe down there in Mississippi through this crazy time, and enjoyed having you on. Take care.
Thanks, folks. Thanks, John.